Hey, warrior, pause for a moment. Look at your life, not the polished version the world sees, but the reality you carry inside your head. Look at the nights when you're wide awake, scrolling endlessly, drowning in distractions while a quiet frustration eats away at you. Think about the mornings when your body rises but your soul refuses to follow. When you move through the day half alive, burdened by the thought that you could be more, do more, become more, that constant whisper inside you, you're capable of more, isn't an enemy. It isn't here to torment you. That voice is your inner warrior, shaking you awake, reminding you of what you were built for. But somewhere along the way, you started slipping. You lowered your standards. You compromised with mediocrity. You told yourself, tomorrow I'll begin, and tomorrow turned into weeks, then months. Now every day feels like a repetition of the last safe, predictable, but empty. You are not broken, but you are drifting. And drifting is dangerous, because it convinces you that living small is normal. But let me be blunted, it's not normal for a warrior to feel soft inside. It is not normal to constantly betray your own potential, to bury your hunger for growth just to remain comfortable. You weren't designed for mediocrity. You were built to convert pressure into power. You were made to face storms with stillness, to meet chaos with composure, to stand firm while the world around you trembles. That is the Stoic way. That is the path of the warrior. So why does life feel off balance? Because weakness has crept in, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, disguised as harmless habits, laziness, endless excuses, scrolling comparisons, emotional outbursts, constant overthinking, distractions you defend as rest. Worst of all, you've gotten skilled at hiding it. You've learned how to look strong on the outside, while inside you're fighting a silent war. But a true warrior doesn't avoid war, he faces it and conquers it. And that conquest begins with a single decision: to kill weakness. Not to bury it, not to run from it, but to confront it face to face, expose it, and destroy it, so that the stronger version of yourself can finally lead. Understand this. This journey isn't about shallow motivation or hype that fades in a few hours. This is about a total reset mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And this reset begins with 3 clear commands. First, reset your beliefs so you stop thinking like a victim or a slave to emotions. Second, restart your inner fire so discipline becomes instinct instead of a battle of willpower. Third, refocus your purpose so every action you take is aligned with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. In this path, you will learn 8 brutal warrior truths, each one carved out of Stoic philosophy, each one tested by centuries of battle and struggle. No sugarcoating, no comfort, just sharp clarity. Each truth will drag a weakness out of the shadows and show you how to crush it with silence, action, and self-mastery. But before we dive into them, you must understand something vital. No one is coming to save you. Not your family, not your past loves, not some perfect morning routine, not a magical formula. No one. It's all on you. And that is not a curse, it's freedom. Because if it's all on you, then you hold the power to change everything. You can rewrite your story. You can break the chains of your past. You can stop acting like a victim of circumstance and rise as the author of your future. But this requires a choice, a hard choice, the choice of the warrior's road, the Stoic road, a road built on silence, self-control, respect for yourself, and sacrifice. It demands that you stop pointing fingers and start building, that you stop waiting for permission and start moving forward, with or without applause. No more justifying weakness, no more disguising avoidance as self-care. Deep down, you already know what needs to be done. You've just been avoiding it. Why? Because comfort is seductive. Comfort is easy. Comfort never demands effort, but comfort has never given you strength. Comfort has never given you pride. Comfort has never given you peace. And you know this, so today, right now, stop searching for external motivation. Stop waiting for someone to inspire you. Look in the mirror. That's where the fire begins. That's where the war is fought. Show up even when it's hard. Stand firm like a man who has had enough of being average. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Don't just read about Stoicism, embody it. Don't just admire strength, train for it. Walk calmly, speak with authority, act with discipline, live with silence. This is not entertainment. This is a call to battle. Your life depends on it, so no more excuses, no more delays. Let the warrior within you rise. Warrior truth number 1. Kill emotional reactivity. Become the eye of the storm. Marcus Aurelius taught, if you are disturbed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it. Think about that. Most people live as slaves to emotions. Someone insults them, they explode. Something doesn't go their way, they collapse. A small frustration ruins their entire day. That isn't strength, that's dependence. A warrior never lets the outside world dictate his inner state. He remains calm in chaos, steady while the world shakes. But let's face it, most people are emotionally fragile. They are puppets, pulled by the strings of other people's opinions, rejections, and disappointments. That is weakness. Stoicism teaches sovereignty of the self. It reminds us, emotions are natural, but they are not. Masters, you can feel anger and choose not to act on it. You can feel grief and still stand firm in purpose. You can be hurt, yet refuse to turn bitter. How do you build this? First, awareness. When something triggers you, pause. Don't react, observe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Second, practice detachment. Not indifference, but freedom. From the compulsion to respond. You owe nobody your emotional outbursts, you owe your self-control. Life will throw storms at you, heartbreak, betrayal, failure, criticism. But if you command your inner fortress, the outer world loses power over you. You don't kill your heart. You train your mind to lead it. You don't grow cold. You become unshakable. The next time someone tries to pull you out of character, remember, you are not a slave to reactivity. You are a warrior who responds with precision and control. Let this be your affirmation. I control my emotions. Warrior truth number 2. Kill the victim mentality. Take ruthless ownership. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't go on discussing what a good man should be one. You cannot rebuild your life until you kill the disease of victimhood." This mindset whispers, "It's not my fault," and keeps you trapped in weakness. Here is the truth. Every time you hand out blame, you hand away your power. We all carry scars, absent fathers, betrayals, failures, heartbreaks. You don't need to pretend they didn't wound you, but you do need to make sure they no longer chain you. Pain is real, yes, but suffering is a choice. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control most of what happens, but we always control how we respond. You may not be responsible for the wound, but you are fully responsible for the healing. So stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What am I going to do about it?" Warriors don't wait for apologies, explanations, or closure. They build their future with what remains. Warriors don't wait. They own everything. Their emotions, their decisions, their outcomes, their future. Look at your life as if it were a battlefield. Ask yourself, honestly, are you sitting in the dirt, complaining about how unfair the fight feels? Or are you standing tall, sword in hand, ready to charge forward regardless of how hard it gets? Because this is the difference between the victim and the warrior. The victim explains why he can't, while the warrior finds a way because he refuses not to. Even philosophy teaches us this truth. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, understood chains better than anyone. Yet he declared that the true prison is not the body, not your circumstances, not what's been taken from you. The real prison is the mind. And the key to freedom is ownership, relentless ownership. When you stop repeating, "I can't," and instead declare, "I will," your entire life changes. So what's holding you back right now? Is it your past? Someone who betrayed you? The fear of failing again? Whatever it is, own it, face it. Don't wait for someone to come and rescue you. No savior is coming. And this isn't depressing, it's the most empowering truth you'll ever hear. Because if no one is coming, then you are free to be the one who saves yourself. That's where real transformation begins. You are not the victim of your story, you are the author. And, starting today, you take the pen back and begin rewriting. Let this affirmation root itself deep within you. I am not a victim. I take full control of my life. Warrior truth number 3. Kill comfort addiction. Seek the fire that builds you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Just as nature takes every obstacle and works around it, so too can we turn every hardship into fuel." Weakness thrives in comfort. Strength thrives in discomfort. And if lately you felt stuck, uninspired, or hollow, it's because you've been living too soft for too long. We no longer simply avoid pain, we worship comfort. We scroll endlessly to escape boredom. We indulge in junk food to escape discipline. We distract ourselves constantly so we don't have to sit alone with our thoughts. We choose the easy path again and again. But what has it really given us? Anxiety, weakness, regret. You cannot rebuild your life while kneeling before the altar of comfort. You must kill your addiction to it. A warrior knows the truth. Discomfort is not an enemy. It is the training ground of transformation. Want clarity? Sit alone without your phone and wrestle with your thoughts. Want strength? Wake up when you don't feel like it. Want peace? Face the thing you've been avoiding instead of numbing it. Comfort whispers, you've done enough. Discipline declares, you've barely started. The Stoics knew this. They didn't chase luxury, they practiced voluntary hardship. They fasted, they endured cold, they embraced silence. Not because they were masochists, but because they understood, without struggle, there is no growth. Every time you pick the easy road, you shrink. But every time you choose the harder way, you grow. Growth doesn't require perfection. It requires resistance. It requires that edge of difficulty. That forces evolution. So when resistance shows up, don't run from it, lean into it. That discomfort is the exact forge where the weak version of you dies and the strong version begins to rise. Reset your habits, restart your training, refocus your energy. Become the kind of man who runs into the fire because fire doesn't destroy the warrior. It forges him. Warrior truth number 4. Kill distraction, refocus, like your life depends on it because it does. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less. Or rather, do only what is essential. Then do it better." You cannot reset your mind if it is always being pulled in 1,000 directions. You cannot restart your purpose if your attention is stolen every 5 minutes. And you cannot refocus your life while living as a servant to noise, notifications, and endless scrolling. One of the greatest silent killers of potential today is distraction. The modern world is a battlefield of constant noise scrolls, pings, updates, entertainment, endless options. And the casualty of this war is your focus. Stoicism teaches the art of simplicity. Do what matters. Ignore what doesn't. Sharpen your attention like a sword, because focus is power, and when you scatter it, you dilute yourself. Think about it. How many times have you opened your phone for something simple and lost 45 minutes in meaningless reels and random browsing? That's not just lost time, it's lost momentum. And momentum is life. A distracted mind is like a dull blade. It cannot cut, it cannot protect, it cannot build. It wanders aimlessly, wasting energy on nothing of value. This is how distraction kills dreams. It turns warriors into wanderers. So if you want to rebuild your life, you must declare war on distraction. Clean your digital environment. Silence notifications. Create focus blocks. Protect your mornings like sacred ground. Don't just try to focus, train to focus. Treat it like a skill, because it is. And it's a skill that separates the ordinary from the elite. The Stoic mindset requires clarity, and clarity only comes from stillness. You need time to think deeply, to hear your own mind, to align your daily actions with your long-term vision. Remember, if they can steal your attention, they can control your mind. And if they control your mind, they own your future. Never let them. Focus is your weapon. Wield it, guard it. Use it with precision, your new affirmation. I protect my focus. My future depends on it. Warrior truth number 5. Kill excuses, choose the warrior over the whiner. Epictetus once asked, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Excuses are the lies you tell yourself to feel comfortable about not taking action. They sound rational, even logical, but in truth, every excuse is a chain tying you to weakness. Everyone has excuses. Not enough time, wrong timing, too tired, too overwhelmed, waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect plan. But warriors separate themselves in this one way. They move anyway. The warrior doesn't wait for conditions to be ideal. He acts in spite of discomfort, in spite of fear, in spite of uncertainty, because he knows every excuse is just another way of saying, "I choose to stay weak." Look back at Stoicism. There was no Stoic who built his life on excuses. They endured hardship, they faced unfairness, and they pressed on. Epictetus, even while crippled and enslaved, never once said, "I can't." Instead, he focused on what was still within his control and built an unshakable mind from it. Every time you choose excuses, you delay your reset. You extend your suffering. You keep your weaker self alive. And the harsh truth is this: excuses might soothe you for a moment, but they destroy you in the long run. So kill the voice that whispers, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. It's not fair. They don't support me." That voice isn't you. It's your fear dressed up as logic. Don't debate with it. Silence it with action. Every single day you face two choices: be the warrior or be the whiner. One builds, the other blames. One commits, the other complains. Warriors don't need perfect plans, they need powerful reasons. They don't need everything to make sense, they need discipline to start now. Show up tired, show up afraid, show up imperfect, but show up, because excuses will never make you strong. Only execution will. Your affirmation: I kill excuses. I choose action over weakness. Warrior truth number 6. Kill the fear of failure. 4. Learn, rise stronger. Marcus Aurelius declared, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. One of the greatest killers of human potential is the fear of failure. Most people aren't really living there, merely tiptoeing through life, carefully avoiding anything that might make them stumble. They don't try because they fear looking foolish. They don't act because they fear it won't work. They don't leap because they fear the fall. But here's the paradox. In avoiding failure, they guarantee it. In protecting themselves from pain, they ensure regret. Failure is not the end, it is the path. Every warrior who has ever risen, every philosopher who has ever taught wisdom, every leader who has ever conquered each of them failed, often and deeply. What made them great was not perfection, but persistence. A warrior sees failure differently. He sees it as feedback. He sees it as training. He sees it as the fire that tempers his blade. When he falls, he doesn't see it as evidence of weakness. He sees it as proof that he's still in the arena, still battling, still alive. The Stoics remind us, what stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle is not a wall, but a doorway, if you choose to walk through it. The fear of failure is an illusion, a ghost that only disappears when you confront it. So when you fall, don't stay down. Learn, adjust, rise stronger. the only true. Failure is refusing to begin. The warrior's road is paved with scars, but each scar is a badge of strength. Affirmation: I do not fear failure. I rise stronger every time I fall. But what most people fail to understand is this: doing nothing is the slowest and most silent path to failure. Inaction doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in like a shadow, stealing opportunities, suffocating growth, and quietly making you weaker with each day you refuse to act. A Stoic warrior knows this truth well. To him, failure is not the end of the road. It is not a sign to stop. It is fuel. It is feedback. It is the sharp edge of pain that refines his spirit and hardens his resolve. Failure is the grindstone upon which strength is sharpened. Life was never designed to be about perfection or about getting everything right on the first attempt. No, life is about becoming strong enough, resilient enough, unshakable enough to keep pressing forward when things inevitably go wrong. Reflect for a moment. How many chances have you let slip because of fear? How many times did you silence yourself instead of speaking? How many times did you stop yourself from acting, from starting, from daring simply because of the thought, what if it goes wrong? That voice, that hesitation, is not wisdom. It is weakness disguised as caution, whispering in your ear to keep you small. And a warrior must destroy that voice. Real strength is not forged in the safety of avoidance. It is forged in the fire of confrontation. You don't build power by dodging defeat. Build it by facing defeat, falling hard, and then refusing to remain on the ground. A warrior who fails doesn't lose who he is. Instead, he gains something priceless insight. He studies the failure, dissects it, learns its lessons, and emerges sharper, wiser, and more dangerous the next time. Failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Fear itself is not the real problem. It is avoidance, the refusal to step into the arena, that kills greatness. Failure will come. That is guaranteed. The only question that matters is, will you allow it to define you, or will you harness it to redesign yourself into something greater? Every legend you look up to has scars of failure. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, lived through sickness, betrayal, grief, and loss that would have broken most men. Yet he remained unshaken in principle and steady in action. Why? Because the Stoic way is not to measure life by how often you win, but by how quickly you rise after every fall. So change your perspective. Stop asking, what if I lose? And begin asking, what if I learn something here that changes everything? That is where true strength is born. No more perfectionism. No more shrinking yourself to fit inside comfort. Take the shot. Take the risk. Make the leap. And if you fall, fall like a warrior with pride, with courage. Then get up with renewed purpose and move forward like one who refuses to be broken. Repeat this truth until it becomes part of your spirit. I rise every time I fall. Kill the need for validation. Preview self first before the world has a chance to approve or reject you. Marcus Aurelius once observed something that remains painfully true even today. We love ourselves more than other people, yet we care more about their opinions than our own. Think about that contradiction. One of the greatest silent killers of authenticity is the desperate need for validation. Every time you hesitate because of what others might think, every time you overthink before acting, every time you shrink yourself for approval, you are surrendering your power. You are abandoning your truth. The warrior's path is lonely precisely because it is not built upon applause. It is built upon alignment with principle, with inner truth, with personal discipline. The world may not cheer for you. Your friends may not understand your choices. Even your family may question your vision. That is fine. Warriors do not move to please the crowd. They move in obedience to truth. Stoicism makes this brutally clear. You cannot control how others perceive you, but you can control whether their perception controls you. The very moment you begin shaping your life for acceptance, you betray your own essence. So ask yourself honestly, who are you living for? The version of you that constantly craves likes, compliments, approval, and external praise will always remain fragile because its identity rests on something unstable, other people's shifting opinions. But the version of you that rises silently, that moves forward without recognition, that keeps building when no one is clapping, that version is unstoppable. That version is free. The real test of peace is not whether others like you, but whether you like the person staring back at you when you are alone. Begin doing things for yourself, not to impress, but to express. Build quietly, grow in private, and let your results speak so loudly that eventually the world must notice, even if you no longer care whether they do. Never forget this. Validation is like a drug. The more dependent you are on it, the weaker you become without it. So detox yourself. Withdraw from the addiction of needing approval. Stand firm on your own foundation, because once you approve yourself, no external opinion can ever enslave you again. Kill your past identity. Seneca once wrote, "When the soul suffers what it must, the body learns what it is." The most dangerous form of weakness is believing you must remain the same person you have always been. Believing you are bound forever by your past identity, by old habits, by mistakes, by stories told about you. You are not chained to the mask you once wore simply because it is familiar. The strongest warriors understand this truth. Constant reinvention is survival. You cannot reset your mind while recycling the same old self. If you keep declaring, "I've always been lazy, I'm just emotional, I've never had discipline," you are programming weakness into your very soul. Your past is not your conclusion. It is only a chapter. The Stoics taught that we are shaped by our choices in the present, not by the shadows of our history. You can begin again, right now. A new identity can be built, not all at once, but brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action. What stops most people is their attachment to the weaker version of themselves. They fear outgrowing the people around them. They fear breaking routines. They fear disappointing those who expect them to remain predictable. And so they stay small, familiar, safe and miserable. But you cannot be reborn while clinging to the corpse of your old self. Let that version die. Let the overthinking you vanish. Let the comfort-seeking you be buried. Let the blame-shifting you dissolve into dust. Now allow a new version to rise, calculated, disciplined, focused. This is not fake. This is not pretending. This is you becoming the self you were always meant to be. That means creating new habits, training your thoughts, entering rooms with a new posture, a new energy, a new mission. At first, it will feel foreign, even lonely. That is the price of transformation. All metamorphosis begins in isolation. But this is your rebirth. And like the Stoics, you must be willing to burn away what is unnecessary to reveal what is essential. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are the choices you make right now. Reinvention is not fake. Remaining stuck in a dead identity, that is what's fake. So choose evolution over ego. Choose your future over your history. Reset, restart, refocus, kill weakness, or live with regret. This world is not soft. Life is not fair. And no one is going to hand you peace, power, or purpose. If you want them, you must become the kind of person strong enough to carry them. That requires killing weakness every single day. Your emotional reactions, your victim mentality, your addiction to comfort, your distractions, your excuses, your fear of failure, your craving for validation, your attachment to your past self, of these are weaknesses. And they do not leave on their own. They must be confronted, starved, and outgrown. This is not a one-time choice. It is a way of life. The Stoics didn't merely think about virtue. They trained it. They practiced self-control, self-discipline, and brutal honesty with themselves. They didn't just endure hardship, they transformed it into wisdom. Now it is your turn. You can waste another year moving in circles, trapped in weakness, or you can reset your mindset, restart your purpose, and refocus your energy like a warrior. This is not about perfection. It is about power, internal, quiet, relentless power. The stronger version of you is not out there waiting. It is already inside, but it cannot emerge while you keep feeding your weaknesses. So the question becomes, what part of you must die for your best self to finally live? Say it, live it, believe it. I kill weakness every day. My reset has already begun.